Sandra Fay, you were involved in protests. I know you're a teacher, aren't you, in Jobstown. Intimidating, almost violent, says Patricia. What do you say to that?
I wanted to comment on the jolly. Like, I don't know where jolly's going to get us, you know. Jolly protest that's all sing and dance. The protest in Jobstown was a very effective protest. What's happening now, I do agree that left-wing economics is starting to run this, because we're getting politicised now and we're getting organised. That's what frightens and scares the life out of this government. Not the fact that we sat down for 3 short 5-minute sessions when we didn't want pushing and shoving on us from the guards. These protests have been violent for years. Like, we've seen Shell to Cork where they got bet. We've seen the students in 2010, blood all over their face, unconscious. So it's okay for the guards to get violent. But if we use a bit of bad language, they're trying to separate us into good protesters and bad protesters. When I first started this, I made stupid mistakes. And this is going back a long time ago. Like, I remember being at the Ardèche and being like, oh my God, look at them putting up these barriers. And that's the photo opportunity they're looking for. I've moved on now, it's years later. I'm never going to give them that photo opportunity. Do I think when people first come out protesting, they'll learn that? Doesn't make them wrong, doesn't make them bad people. We had a great protest in Jobstown.
But what are you looking for now, Sandra? Because you've had a win. You've had a win. They brought down the charges. They brought them right down. They're giving €100 back when you pay over your $260. So what do you want?
Well, that's called the carrot, right? We're not biting. And the stick is putting 5 people in jail, arresting 25 people, telling the rest of us they're going to come for us. There were 700 people on that protest that day, and not one of them was violent. Children on the sideline who didn't understand trying to water balloon, and I went and I spoke to them children. I said, come on, please, your mum and dad are doing a great thing here. We're winning. We're the ones in the right. We're going to change this country. We're going to take this country back, because capitalism and cronyism is ruling this country, and the austerity measures and the poverty is what has people out now. It's undescribable, but just waiting. John Broughton sitting in a car for 2.5 hours is what's getting discussion. You know, that's the bottom line here.
Dr. Bill Tormey, you were shaking your head through all of that.
I think this is absolute absurd, bombastic nonsense. The fact of the matter is that this country ran into a situation where nobody would give us any money. We had a massive budget deficit.
We should say that you're a former Fine Gael councillor.
I am, yeah, I'm proud of it. And I support Enda Kenny. And I'm not making any messing about. The previous government, unfortunately, found themselves in a horrendous situation. Brian Lenihan and your brother found themselves in a shocking situation, and the country was basically going bankrupt. Nobody would give us the money to run social welfare, to pay you as a teacher, to pay me as a doctor, or anybody else. And the IMF and the ECB and the EU, England, the Swedes and a number of other people came in here and said, right, we lend you a few quid with obvious conditions.
Yeah, but
and hold on now,
no, I have to challenge you on this, because there's people from these communities who are really suffering as a result.
They are, of course, because you know the alternative. The alternative was to close the country down.
Close the banks down. Not the country, the banks.
The banks had gone bankrupt.
Let them.
If the banks
Why did you make them too big to fail? Why does capitalism make them too big to fail?
I didn't. That was a failure
No,
of
but
regulation.
your previous government does, and capitalist government does, until we get a change from that.
It's a failure of regulation.
The fact of the matter is,
regulator in prison.
And the bankers.
That is currently.
And if you could hold on to my taxes that I pay,
you can shout all you
make
like,
poor
but
people.
if you don't mind, I could say a few things. The bottom line is that
well.
so do I. The bottom line